Hi everyone, it's Jen here from Tarot Spirit. Here for your July 2016 tarot reading. Thanks for joining me. I'm using my Arthurian Legend Tarot today. So let's get started. So I'm going to do two cards for the work category, two for home, two for love, two for spirituality and sort of overall wisdom. And I'm also going to have a focus card and peek at the bottom of the deck. So we have the Page of Swords and the Seven of Swords in the work category. We have the Queen of Swords and the Ten of Wands at home. Six of Swords and the Chariot in the love category. That's nice. Death in the spirituality. And the King of Wands. I like that together. Okay, the flowers are sort of... All right, let's see what the focus is of this month for us. We're going to be in our minds quite a bit in July, which can be good or bad. But I think it's good. I think we're making some big decisions about and taking action about where we want things to go from here, and not just the focus is the Four of Wands. Very nice. Not just going along and reacting to events that happen to us, but actually taking action. And oops, I was going to look at the bottom. Oh, and I still have the bottom of the deck. I thought I started shuffling again, but I didn't grab from the bottom. So the underlying issue or subconscious influence or something we want to bring to the surface is the nine of the major arcana, which is the Hermit. So this is about going within, looking for wisdom, really trying to take a philosophical approach to what's going on in our lives at the moment. And we are in our heads a lot with the amount of swords cards on the table. So this will be sort of a deep month, sort of probably, making some profound changes with the Death card in the way we conduct ourselves, the way we think about things, the way we look at the world. And because of that, we're not going to live the same anymore. And it couldn't be in a big way, it could be in a more subtle way, but there will be some sort of inner transformation that will occur where moving forward things will have to be different. We can never go back. So let's look at the focus is the Four of Wands, and this is a card about milestones, I think of it. So getting in, meeting someone, calling them your boyfriend or girlfriend for the first time, moving in together, getting engaged, getting married, anniversaries, getting divorced, having a child, graduating from high school, graduating from college, getting into college, getting your first job. You can see where I'm going. So any of those sort of things we sort of celebrate are bigger occasions in life. And if you think about those times in life, those are often the times we do become pretty introspective and sort of take a look at like our whole lives instead of just sort of going day to day. Sort of say, now, you hear about someone getting engaged or something, and you're like, you either reflect back about that time in your life and then where you are now, if you're already engaged or married or whatever, or even divorced. Or you think, do I want to get married? Do I want to get engaged? What kind of person do I want that, to be with? And so it really does promote this type of deep philosophical reflection. So in the work environment, my God, it's like we still have this person that's sort of behaving badly. Maybe the overall morale is not so good where you're working, or there's one person that's a constant pain in the butt. But I do see us communicating, or there being some communication. It doesn't necessarily have to come from us in the workplace. That's going to maybe shed some light on things. Some truths will come out, or some previously hidden. And it doesn't necessarily have to be negative with this card. It can just be things that were sort of hidden or beneath the surface, or, sometimes management can't tell you about things till other things have been figured out. So there will be some communications coming in the work front. So just make sure the way the tarot cards work is, okay, there may be some changes. Well, how do you deal with change? Are you going to get worried and even maybe start behaving poorly because it's difficult for you to navigate change that you don't feel in control of? It's a good time to reflect on that. Or, okay, what if there's this big announcement at work and it doesn't go the way I think it should go? Think about it. Are you truly a team player, or are you going to sit there and run around and bitch to everyone you can get your hands on and complain about it and stir up more negativity? Or are you going to be a good leader and philosophical about it and say, well, I can understand, why, if people are coming to you doing that, well, I can understand why they're doing that, because we do need to take into consideration these things. So when you look at the big picture, and, I always like to look at it too, is that, can I do what they're asking me to do, even if it seems like the stupidest way possible? And usually the answer is yes, I can do that. So you know what? Do it. Constructively, if you see some issues, speak up. That's what they're paying for. You just make sure it's constructive. Did you consider this aspect or this aspect? And, they may have, and there still may be a reason why they had to do it the other way, or they may not have, and they may go, oh, that's a good point. I'll have to think about that. But then carry on. You're there. I try to flip the scenario. So if I had my own business and I had people working for me, I would want them to do what I'm paying them to do. But somehow, if you work for a bigger corporation or something, it becomes this abstract, like, evil big brother, and how dare they tell me what to do? And it's sort of like, well, you know what, they're paying you to do the job that you're hired to do, regardless of whether, what you think about it. And when you sort of flip the tables, like, be the employee you wish your employees would be, and sort of changing your perspective and changing your attitude like that, you may find a work that you may not love so much a little easier by, sort of having a better attitude about it. So let's stop focusing on work. Let's get to the good stuff. So at home, there's going to be, some of us are going to be channeling our Queen of Swords, and she's going to be like, you know what, people I live with, and if you live alone, you may be turning this to yourself. Some things have to give and change because I'm feeling overburdened. I'm feeling that things are out of balance and I'm doing more than my fair share. Or you may, again, if you live alone, you may be taking on unnecessary responsibilities that really are not yours. So it's going to be a good time. She will make lists. She will talk to someone who's another sword energy, another air sign, or someone with those types of qualities that will really sit there without emotion and look at what you're doing and saying, Jen, do you really need to be on 10, and this is not me because I'm not on 10 committees, because I don't tend to overburden myself. I'm really careful about that. And I'm not lazy either. So don't let people think just because, no, I'm not going to be on the PTA and Cub Scouts and this and run the soccer program and volunteer. No, you know what? You do what you can do, and you do not need to take on responsibilities that are not your own. So get someone that can really help you prioritize. What's more important, getting out and exercising or having a spot, cleaning your kitchen spotless twice a day? You know what I mean? It's like, can the dishes maybe sit there for 2 hours and you can go exercise? Do you really need, can you hire someone to come in and clean, which is something I'm really thinking about? Can you hire the kid down the road to come and mow your lawn? Is that going to free up some time? How can you free up some time so that you are mentally in a better place? I think you'll find a lot of the burdens that you carry are not necessarily yours to carry or necessary to carry. So that's a really good thing. Really sort of clean house, metaphorically. Clean your life, clean out some clutter, stop doing things you don't need to be doing, and start making time for the things you want to do this month. Okay, love. So I'm loving, I didn't mean that to be a horrible play on words, but I'm loving the love cards. Six of Swords. There's a lot of moving away from things that are mentally challenging, either by changing how we're thinking about it or physically changing things, by letting things go, literally moving on metaphorically, changing how we think about things. So this is a beautiful card. This is very thoughtfully. This isn't sort of like I hope you can see the cards. I have a glare so I can't see. Yeah, it looks like it's. This is in your brain realizing that you're with an abusive person. And I want to talk about abusive people right for a second. I'm not a psychiatrist, psychologist. So this is my opinion. But unfortunately, I have had to deal with several abusive people in my life. I've had a couple abusive bosses, which is really tough um, to deal with. But I've had a few abusive partners. And the one thing about abusive people is, one, they never think they're abusive. They always think they're the victim and that you're the problem. They've twisted around so they can justify being nasty. And two, abusive people are rarely abusive all the time, and they usually save it for their abusees. Um, they can compartmentalize it. So often, people who don't know them intimately, or where they can get them alone and act this way, is with another characteristic. They usually are so great. So everyone else is going to make you, if you start to feel like, am I crazy? That's what the number one red flag. If you're with someone and you're like, am I crazy? Or like, because they'll turn things around, you can look up what gaslighting means. And they wait till they get you alone, and they usually have completely unrealistic and very selfish expectations. Your needs and thoughts are dismissed. So really, this is only for a small number of you out there, but if you are feeling, if anything I just said resonated with you, you're very likely in an abusive situation or with an abusive partner. And it's usually much more subtle than you would think. They're not all Ike Turners. I almost said Ted Turner. Ike Turners. They're not all beating the crap out of you. In fact, most of them are not physically abusive. So this is the oh my God, I see it now. I see this pattern of abuse. I see what's going on here, and it's not me. And it's sort of taking away the emotion, because they usually can be great sometimes, but it doesn't matter if someone's great sometimes if they're nasty other times, and you never know when that's going to be. And you don't want, you shouldn't have to live that way. Healthy people are not that way. everyone has their moments, but everyone having their moments is like once a year, not once or twice a week, okay? And this is coming to that realization that that's what's going on. And then we have this beauty, or even, and it doesn't have to be abuse. So for the rest of us who are not dealing with that, this can simply be like the person I'm with, we're just not a match. And it doesn't mean they're a horrible person, and it doesn't mean you're a horrible person. There are tons of really wonderful people in relationships that just aren't a match for whatever reason. Even if you think you should be, sometimes you're just not in a match. And if you're the person that wants to break it off, don't stay because you're afraid of hurting the other people, because it's not fair for them to be in a relationship with someone who's not really into it either. Think about it. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. Would you really want someone staying with you just because they feel guilty or worried? Or would you want to be, there'll be grief and stuff released so you can get on with your life and finding someone that's more appropriate? And then the energy of the Chariot comes in. And instead of just reacting to what's going on, you have this clear thought about moving yourself to a more mentally and emotionally calm and peaceful environment. And this is the energy that you are making a plan to do this. It's not, you're just not a knee-jerk reaction and I'm out of here and slamming out and then probably coming back, because that's sort of that cycle. This is, you're going to have a mature discussion. Who knows how it will go? Probably not well if you're with someone that's abusive, but you're going to speak your mind and you have a plan in place and you're going to carry it out and you're going to stick with it and you're moving on with your life with a plan of action, and you're going to feel so good about it because, again, it isn't a reaction. It's a plan of action. And if it's just, you've been with someone that doesn't just isn't a match, even though they're a great person, you're still going to meet it with a responsibility and a plan to move forward. For those of you who aren't ready to leave a relationship, but things need some tweaking, again, the conversation like, things aren't feeling right. I think we need to think about things. And again, having a plan of action to make your relationship better, which is beautiful, because that's really hard to do. A lot of people just want to ignore things because they don't want to deal with fights or reactions, and then things that may have been preventable or solvable, not preventable, but worked on, just get ignored and resentment builds up. And take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because I'm single, so I've yet to have a successful relationship, right? Spirituality cards. Death. I already touched upon this. So this is living your life in a different way. Being, taking action. Being philosophical about things. So this is sort of like a mini midlife crisis, no matter how old you are. And not in, I'm going to, I don't know, shave my head and buy a convertible and waste money type stupid midlife crisis, but a mini life crisis that really just helps you reassess things. And if that's spurred on by some sort of milestone, that whether you're invited to a wedding or someone has a baby or someone passes away or whatever can happen that can trigger these things, you're you're going to change. And I think it's really coming from within us and not sort of an external change that we're dealing with. It's more of a plan we're putting into place because we realize we just can't quite live in the same way anymore. We don't think the same way. We've had a realization where we can't ignore things anymore. And then we have my favorite man here, the King of Wands energy coming in. So we're motivated. Like this is not a down in the dumps depressing change. This change is we're going to leave with a lot of excitement and passion and motivation for this new way forward in our lives. Like, this is going to be a good thing. We're going to be leaving July fired up and passionately and motivated to move on with our lives in this new way. So it's going to be bring in an enormous amount of positive energy into our lives, and we're just going to be really, really jazzed up to move forward. And we're going to have just new thoughts and be passionate about new things. Some of you are going to start your own business. Some of you are going to go out on your own. Some of you are going to literally move. I mean, some of you are going to move to a new country, move across water, move by water. Some of you, um, so I'm getting excited as I'm talking about it. So that's the type of energy that's that's going to be brought about by these changes that we're going to face in July. So thanks, Sag, for watching. I don't even know if I said this was for Sagittarius. I can't even remember. I do so many readings, I forget what I've even said. So thanks again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you at the next video. Take care.